Hey, this is Joshua. Welcome to Async. And today I'm following up on Sadia's previous episode where he brought up a bunch of things. But first, I've been doing these neck exercises for 2 days now. My neck is incredibly sore. I don't, I'm not going to recommend the specific video because this is not a medical show. And I'm just trying to figure this out for myself, how to help with how I'm feeling. And I think it's helping. Well, remains to be seen. Follow up on a couple of things. I was listening to the Wavelength podcast by Marquez Brownlee, and he mentioned that he uses a trackpad and a mouse. So I just love that. So a little bit of follow up where he uses the trackpad for editing and the mouse for working, and that just kind of solves the problem of both. I actually love the Magic Mouse. I've been using it for a long time now, and it works really well for how I think, which is first set the cursor speed to the fastest setting possible by in on the Mac, and I just move very quickly across the screen. I love the shortcuts, 2, 3 finger gestures that I can do. It's incredibly useful on the mouse, and when I have the trackpad, somehow it just doesn't feel as comfortable to me. And granted, I work on a laptop all the time. So I've tried other more ergonomic mice, and I love the gestures on the glass pad. It's much more useful for me. Let's see, double tap. Yeah, I think this is a little bit more follow up. With the double tap on the Apple Watch, I find that it's not in the now playing screen, it's on the little widgets. And I want it to be on the now playing screen. Maybe it's something I could play around with a little bit to make it more comfortable. I'm not sure. I actually want to, I think I've asked you about this. I've been an Overcast podcast user for a long time and absolutely love it. But with some of the recent changes, I cannot get it to be consistent. So I'll start listening to an episode, I'll pause, I'll come back in, it resets the episode. I've checked the reviews on the podcast app, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people are experiencing this, so it's functionally no longer an option for me. I kept testing it, tweaking it. I keep checking to see in the release notes if that has been fixed. It doesn't seem like it has. So I actually am back on Apple Podcasts for a month now. I don't love it, but again, it's the default and it works okay. I have to go to the um, latest episodes screen, and that's now where I basically live inside of the podcast, and that works pretty well for me. I'd like to get back to Overcast, but I just can't right now. I'm hoping that will get fixed. We'll see. Um, couple of other things I would love for you to maybe write about your setup, what you've got. So it'd be easier for me to just straight up copy it with your tools and such. That could be actually a great YouTube video is to walk through a little bit more in length. Um, as far as clipboard tools, I don't use any. I've tried them. They just don't work with how my brain works. So I just use the deep copy paste. I've tried Alfred and Silver something and a bunch of other tools for search. But right now, I just use Spotlight, and it's the default, and it works okay. That seems to be a theme right now. Um, you mentioned something on the last episode about procrastination. I was listening to Ben Thompson on one of his podcasts recently, and he mentioned procrastination, how he will spend all day trying to figure out what he wants to write. And it's kind of in his head. He's procrastinating. He's doing everything he can but writing. And there's a period of time where when he's trying to write, he cannot be disturbed by anything. But the moment he figures out what he needs to write, he'll be in group chats, he'll be responding because his brain is locked in. He knows what he's going to do. He's in that flow state, so to speak. And I actually resonate with that. Sometimes it's quite a while thinking and processing and wrestling with the thing that I need to do. And once it's solved, it feels like it's instant. I can just go solve it really quickly. So I don't think you're alone in that. I think this is something many creatives struggle with. Now, new topic. I was approached by a mutual friend of ours, Arlen Bird, and he had a question. He wanted to know how to do, as a he's not an illustrator specifically or an artist specifically, but he wanted to know how he could have illustrations for the post that he's writing. And I immediately sent him a voice message right back with some tips on illustration. And he asked what maybe I should write about that. So I wrote up a quick blog post, and I found this is always the case. I actually recently wrote a blog post about smoothies. It is so much easier for me to write or create something when it's to someone, a friend or an acquaintance, or just someone saying, here's a problem I'm wrestling with. Here's something I need your help with. And the moment that they I have them in my mind, I can just write out really quickly and shoot it over to them. I can create a voice memo. So I'd like more of my life to be like that, where I'm creating something to solve a problem. Sometimes it's my own itch. I just wanted, I'm curious how, if that works for you. Maybe development a little bit differently, but it's so much easier to write, to send a memo to a friend when it's dealing with a specific problem that they have. That's it for now. Also, I'm on a new setup. I was listening to Jason Snell talk about why he hasn't gone into video because the setup is so incredibly challenging, and I am finding that video is a lot harder than audio, and we'll keep tweaking. We'll keep getting better at this.